Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to go through 18 minutes by Peter Bregman, 18 minutes to find your focus, master distraction, and get the right things done. And if that's something that you're interested in learning a little bit more about, then please follow along and I'm going to dive through here the biggest takeaways that I took out of his book. So first, the book was written by Peter Bregman, and if you are not familiar with me, if this is the first time you've checked out any of my videos, if you want to head over to brandonyeager.com, you can go and sign up for my newsletter there at /newsletter. But let's go ahead and let's dive right into it. So the intro, he talks about wasted time is stolen time. You know, when people make you waste your time, they're stealing from your life. So if you are, let's say that somebody is late for a meeting, they're causing people they're essentially having minutes of their life stolen, and they may not even realize it. So, and if you've also ever asked yourself, where did the day go, and where did those years go? Then this is a book that might be able to help you kind of get more focused and get everything lined up in your life that you really need to be able to focus on. And the goal of the book is essentially to be able to translate your yearly needs into an 18-minute daily plan. And it's kind of interesting because I feel like it was very similar to a lot of the things that I've been doing over the last couple of years. And I think that it helps me to refine and also make sure that the things that I am supposed to be focusing on, that I am. So let's go ahead and let's dive into part one. Part one is about hovering above your world, and it's all about pausing. And he says that great leaders have enough confidence to look critically at their own perspective and stay open to other people's points of view, using the technique of slowing down, even when they know they're right. So even if you know that something is more than likely going to go in a certain direction, you as leader want to be able to slow down and just kind of really assess everything and allow people to provide inputs, and you as the leader should be able to value their inputs. If things are going right or well, slow down or stop. Reducing your forward momentum is the first step to freeing yourself from the beliefs, habits, feelings, and busyness that may be limiting you. Power of a pause. Raw, unfiltered emotion is not the source of your best decisions. The pause sets you up for a smarter next move. And what I've done is I've kind of highlighted some of the ones here as I go through that for me and my situation, my circumstances, they kind of stuck out a little bit better to me. Life is a marathon. Plan to spend some days doing medium intensity stuff. And what he's saying is that if you go driving every single day, then you might get basically to exhaustion. But if you know that your life is a marathon, and you look at each week, you know that you need to build some time in. You need to kind of throttle your actions. And in this particular case, if you're training for a marathon, you know, maybe 2 runs during the week you're going to do of medium intensity. One will be your extra long distance run where you're going to try to push yourself and get trained up, getting ready for your marathon. And you're also more than likely going to take several days off. So stepping away from your busyness will sometimes provide you with the best insights for you in your life. It's not enough to identify as something. We need to be it. We need to be a father. Like if we want to be the best father, we need to be the best father. We need to be taking actions to be in shape if that's one of our goals. And if you're wanting to run, then you need to be a runner. You also need to choose rituals that have meaning to you and do them religiously. Most importantly, be consistent. Doing the same thing repeatedly over time solidifies your identity. And it follows along with a lot of the habit books that I've been reading. And then also he talks about the Susan Boyle story, which if you're not familiar with it, go look it up. It's an amazing testament to perseverance and being able to see your dreams through. And in this particular case, he mentions about don't settle for being less than you are. It won't serve you. So give it your all, whatever that looks like for you in your life. Part 2, what is the year about? So what is the foundation of our happiness? If you have strengths, leverage them. Weaknesses, embrace them, and just know that that's who your being is, and that you're going to be who you are and do what you do best. Don't without fear of reprisal or fear of being made fun of or anything along those lines. If you have differences, assert them. If you have passions, pursue them. We're already doing something, whether it's a job, a hobby, or a pastime, that exploits our strengths, allows for our weaknesses, uses our differences, and excites our passions. And that's where you're going to find the most joy and probably your most productivity. I was just starting through a book by Ali Abdaal. It's called Feel Good Productivity. I'm sure we'll have a video out on that at some point here in the near future in a mind map. Yeah, that's what it's about, is doing things that you find enjoyable, or how to make things that you have to do as enjoyable as possible. So we're 10 times more likely to take actions when choice is limited. And I can definitely attest to that. I know that if my choices are limited, then it's more easy for me to make a decision. If I go into an ice cream shop, like we have a frozen custard store right down the road here, and if I go into it and they only have 3 varieties in their freezer, then I am a lot more easily able to figure out which one I'm going to take along with me to take home after I've gotten an order at the counter. But if they have like 10 different varieties in there, then I might want 2 or 3 of them. I won't be able to decide which one I want to take home. So hopefully that makes some sense. I love frozen custard. So, leveraging strengths over the coming year, play the game that is suited to my strengths, embracing weaknesses. Most successful people know their weakness and integrate them into making an impact in the world. Our quirks may be a superpower if utilized properly. Asserting differences, needing to stand out from the crowd. If we're like everyone else, then how critical are we? We want to have, and it could be for like anything. It could be like a church meeting. It could be at a school board meeting. It could be just in a discussion that you're having with 3 coworkers. Everybody should be able to contribute and put some value into the conversation and know that their differences are valued. Advice for don't rock it. You may have heard don't rock the boat. He's saying rock on. Whatever you're able to do to contribute to being different and setting yourself apart from others is going to benefit you. Pursuing passions. He talks about the story of Captain Sullenberger, which probably most of you are aware. He was a pilot who landed the airplane. I think it was on the Hudson River up in New York City, and he was able to safely get everybody evacuated. Really interesting. He talks about whenever you're passionate about something, you're loving to do it, you're going to learn more about it, and you're probably just going to be able to help pursue or show that passion to other people. And in this particular case, Captain Sully, he got his pilot license as a teen. Said ended up being, I guess in his part-time, he did accident investigation, and he helped train on evacuating airlines during emergencies. And it's like, wow, I guess God put him in the right place and had him being trained up for this right opportunity to be there, to be able to help people. And all of his years of training and his passion, it all paid off in that one specific moment. So what are you obsessed with? It's a great question that we should be asking ourselves. What are you willing to persist in? Is there something that you love so much that you will just continue to do it even when you're facing setbacks? When it feels like you're not succeeding with it, what are you willing to continue to persist with? And if you do work you love, you'll excel. He says that when we pursue things that matter to us, we ask ourselves questions. Why am I doing it? What do I spend my time on that I don't particularly care about? What's not important? What makes me feel bad? He has a little, I guess it's an analogy. We always leave buffets stuffed, and I put to the gills. We want to eat them all. But if we really want to be happy, we need to consume less, and we need to do fewer things to have and experience more happiness out of that. Sometimes we just need to step back in order to step forward. Need a number to focus on. He chose 5. He chose to focus on 5 work-related areas and 2 personal areas. And he also made a note that those didn't necessarily have measurable goals. They were just areas for him to focus on. And then the different tasks would end up like falling in underneath all of that. So part 3, what is this day about? Without focus, we'll keep repeating the same patterns that prevent us from moving forward. And the things that get done will end up being the ones that inevitably have people screaming the loudest, where other people's priorities are going to become our priorities. And that usually is not a very effective way to go about our days. Plan your day ahead so you can fly through it, successfully and maneuvering and moving forward to your intended destination. That's something that I've gotten really good at over the last, I'd say, 2 years. Is getting to the point where I can plan daily, and really I set up my day for success by planning the night before, and even more so over the last 6 months. So I can definitely speak that that's a really good habit to build into our lives. Reducing your overwhelm by putting your tasks in an organized list and focus on what you want to achieve for the year. It has never been more important to say no. No, I'm not taking that phone call. No, I'm not going to read that email. And no, I'm not sitting through a meeting, especially if it's not going to be one that is of value to you, or that you're able to provide enough value to them to even, make your attendance be a requirement. Intending to do something versus doing something. It gets done if it gets calendared. So if you're talking about maybe doing something, you really want to put a time and a date and a place to it to make sure that it does get taken care of. Spend a few minutes at the end of each day thinking about what you learned and with whom you should connect. These minutes are the keys to making tomorrow even better. He talks a little bit about his 18-minute plan. It's a very, and and that is kind of crazy that with the name of the book being 18 minutes, you'd think that it's mainly about a system focused on what those 18 minutes are or something along those lines, but it was not. It was actually just like 1 or 2 pages in the book, which I found a little unusual. But it starts by asking, how many of you have too much time and not enough to do in it? And nobody ever raises their hand whenever he's doing his consulting classes. And he talks about 5 minutes being the morning minutes whenever you're trying to figure out your plan for the next day. He talks about doing 1 hour for each day, so I'm assuming that's going to be 8 minutes for a typical 8-hour workday, and then 5 minutes for the evening minutes. And then part 4, what is this moment about? Mastering distraction. So, our environment oftentimes dictates our actions. If you are trying to lose weight and if you are sitting around a stack of Twinkies and Ho-Hos and Fifth Avenue candy bars, and they're all like sitting all around you, you're going to have a very difficult time ignoring those and not eating them. So, your environment can potentially change what actions you end up taking. Make it easy to change a behavior in certain environments. And the goal was to make the things that we want to do easier and the things that we don't want to do harder. Create environments that naturally compel you to do the things that you want to do. We need less motivation than we think. Most often, we just need to take the first step. I put a little metaphor in here, cranking the flywheel. If you are, let's say that it's time for you to go to the gym in the morning, if you hit that snooze button and you don't get up, there's a very high likelihood that you may not get up and you may not get to the gym in time. But once you get out of bed, it just takes that one moment, that first thing that you have to do. You get out of bed and then it's so easy. Just head over to the bathroom, throw your contacts in, get your whatever, get your glasses on, whatever you're trying to do to get ready, and then get out the door. And one thing, once you get that first action done, everything else will be able to start falling right in alignment. And it's kind of a beautiful thing. So I definitely agree with that. We gravitate towards doing things we find pleasurable and away from things that we find painful. Kind of talks a little bit about Tony Robbins' pain and pleasure type things there. And if you want to change a behavior, start with fear and then shift toward reward. So what he's saying is that like that fear of, or maybe it's the fear of a pain, it's a great catalyst. It gets a quick, rapid change and a movement in a different direction. But he says that fear is not sustainable. It's going to be like a reward that keeps them going long term. and mastering your boundaries. When the day is going well, it's been planned out. And what's going to happen is well-meaning people, they're going to be nice, polite, sincere people, and they're going to have great projects and items that they're working on that they're trying to move forward. He's saying that you got to be cautious because the seductive sirens who want to tempt you away from your efforts are going to come calling, and it's going to be, it's going to sound great. You're going to, and it could, like many of these items are going to be good, wholesome activities that you would love to be a part of. You just have to be very cautious because there's only one of you. And until they figure out cloning and they're able to create more of you or whatever that happens to look like, I don't know. Like there's just one of us. We only have so many hours in a day, and we just need to be very cautious with our time. So resist the temptation to say yes too often. Plan for lead times. Can simply arrive somewhere, must drive. Otherwise, it's a premeditated lateness. So what it's saying is, if you have one meeting set up between 2 and 3, and you're supposed to be at another meeting 15 minutes away at 3 o'clock, there's no way you didn't leave yourself any lag time in there. You're already premeditating that you're going to be late for the 3 o'clock meeting since you didn't set any lag time in there. Set boundaries. When we're plugged in, be plugged in and available. And when we're not, we're not. Mastering yourself. Create unrealistically short deadlines. Deadlines keep things alive and moving. Perfect example is I make this video right now. It's like I know that every single day for a 30-day challenge, I have to make a video. And there's some days that I don't feel like doing a video. I have so many different priorities and projects that we're trying to move through. And I realize, though, that this is something I've committed to. And I have a deadline. Every single day, a video is going to go out. So by 12 p.m., by midnight, I better have a video out to finish out this challenge. And I think I have 10 days counting this one. So I have 9 more videos in my 30-day challenge coming up after this. And honestly, I found a lot of enjoyment over a lot of it, but I've also found some stress at various times on different things. And that's okay too. It's all been a learning experience, and it's all completely been awesome, and I don't regret it for another second. So anyway, create unrealistic short deadlines. They'll help keep things alive and moving. It's not necessarily our skills that determine how we feel, but if we think we're good at something, we'll do it. And it's a lot about our belief in being confident of who we are and what we're about and what we're trying to do. The world does not reward perfection, it rewards productivity. Thought that was a nice little quote that he threw in there. Small steps. Don't write a book, start with a page. Don't create an entire presentation, do a slide. Small steps allow for successes, and they're habitual and allow for better results. Don't think about doing the entire race. Think about the first 10 steps that you have to take on your run. Just worry about getting through that first minute, and then all the other minutes will start to line up right after it. 7-to-1 ratio. If you're talking to somebody performance wise, give them 7 good things to walk away from before you give them the one bad thing, or you want it to be a 7-to-1 ratio. It doesn't necessarily have to be in that order, but make sure that you're giving people enough praise and encouragement versus tearing them down. And choosing your one thing, keeping focused on one thing. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the review, and feel free to head over, sign up for my newsletter if you would like to get a free copy of this PDF, this mind map. You're welcome to it. I'll put it up on my website here shortly, and it'll be available for download. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And if you've not already subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up, or if you have any questions or comments, I would love to hear them in the comments down below the video. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.